Can Draw Social Club live stream. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Panocean, one of the co-founders. And you know who else we have here? Everybody's pretty lucky because we have Dave Johnson.
Hey.
Look at him.
If that's lucky or not. But...
Oh, I consider it lucky. Dave, say something and humor us all.
What would you like me to say?
Oh, you still talk about your childhood, why you are the way you are.
Wait, shouldn't we finish introducing everybody?
Oh, yeah, sorry. We have Jeff Johnson.
Hi, everyone. That's me.
I used some clickbait, and I apologize. I said Jeff would be eating raspberries. He's all out of raspberries. He does have a banana.
Which is what a beer looks like for me.
Oh, is that what you're drinking? What is that beer, Jeff?
Today, I'm drinking Strata IPA. It's quite delicious.
Otherworldly.
I know, right? One of the nicest things about Oregon is just how many breweries there are down here.
There's like 6 of them, right?
There's 2 within arm's throwing distance.
I believe it. Ben, this is Ben DeFeo, everyone. He's if the Drink and Draw live stream is Roadhouse, Ben is our Dalton.
He's our cooler.
He's our cooler.
Wait, what is this? What is this movie you're talking about? I've never seen it.
It's a movie that is about probably 20 years old or 25 years old at this point.
It sounds awful.
Roadhouse?
Beautiful. It's fine quality American cinema.
Yeah,
might be the greatest movie ever made. Yeah.
Is there throat ripping out scenes in it?
My favorite character in all of Roadhouse is the bad guy that actually gets his throat ripped out. Sadly,
that was Ben Gazzara.
No, Ben Gazzara I think he just gets shot or something bad happens. Yeah, he gets shot. Everybody shoots him at the end with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Falls last table.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe I have seen this movie. I seem to be.
Are you legitimately saying you've never seen Roadhouse? You're not.
It's the greatest film.
Dave, seriously.
You mean the movie with Sam?
All right.
Sam Elliott.
All right, he got me. Damn it.
Patrick Swayze.
I can't believe I should have known better. I've watched it with him.
Yeah.
I must be tired.
Yeah. Jeff and I always watch it in bathrobes together.
We did a lot of things in bathrobes together.
Yeah. We'll get to that later. Because I always find a way to weasel that into the conversation during a Drink and Draw live stream for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason it keeps coming back up and up.
I got a lot of things going on in my head.
Jeez Louise, what was that?
Oh, no.
That's a Dave Johnson thing. Did everybody shut off their cellular phone devices?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I got a new camera, so when I do start drawing, watch out, everyone. The angle is going to be intense. It's going to be nuts.
Excellent. So what are you going to draw today?
I was thinking of doing a redo of yesterday's because I was so disappointed in it. Or not yesterday's, Wednesday's, because of the angle. I don't know. Now I'm on Stallone, Cobra, which is an epic film, but he's only in sunglasses and that. I mean, I guess it's easier for me.
Sure.
But I like looking into a man's eyes.
Well, I mean, you can't. How are you going to draw the match? Isn't that a pivotal character point?
I'm going to use. Yeah, I'm definitely going to draw them. If I do draw Cobra.
So you would say that is your favorite Stallone film? No,
that's probably the film that influenced me the most. That I thought when I was growing up, I'm like, okay, I need a black V-neck shirt. Number one, I need police sunglasses, and I did like a little idiot. Like for maybe one day until my dad was like, what is that in your mouth?
Did you have the match?
I had the match. And he's like, why do you have a match? And honestly, you know what's weird? I don't think Stallone smoked.
No, he never smokes in the movie.
Maybe, you know what? He's probably trying to quit smoking. And he's like, I need something there. It's just, it'll help me get through it. But yeah, he always has the match for some reason.
But you never know when you need to light a fire.
Yeah, don't light one with him. What else? Oh, yeah, another thing. I was obsessed with a 50 Mercury. I got to have that. Like chop top 50 Mercury.
Badass, yeah.
Yeah. It even killed me as a kid. I was like, oh, my God, they destroyed that car. That's you know.
That is the true crime of the film.
Well, it probably wasn't the hero car. It was probably just a quickly made, one that they destroyed. Yeah. So the hero car is probably somewhere driving around in somebody's collection.
Someone's probably driving it now. Can you even imagine that?
I can't. Well, what do you drive? What's an Impala? Is that what's the name? You have a big muscle car, right?
It's a '67 Firebird, it's not an Impala. I mean, I like the Impala, but this is.
Apologize.
All my uncles growing up, they always had like Camaros and Firebirds. So,
are those the ones that used to tickle touch you?
Look, I was a little kid.
Is that why you're so enamored with these cars? You like bring back those memories?
If I could be driving from the back seat, I would be doing that. But
is that where you lost?
Yeah,
you lost
my legs aren't long enough.
You lost your innocence in the backseat of a Firebird.
Yeah, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. This is not the podcast to discuss that. That's my personal podcast that's going to be airing next week.
Right.
Did you used to get rewarded with Conan comics?
Yeah, it's all making sense now.
Yeah.
Everything. Stallone was a big thing for me, and I like the fact that his name was Marion Cabretti, and then he just kind of like meekly told Brigitte Nielsen that. And he said, and then she accepted it. She was like, "Hey, it's cool with me."
Yeah,
well, Marion's a great name. I was like, you know what? Someone out there is going to love me for just who I am.
Someday.
Trying to convince Elena, my wife, but she's pretty busy lately.
All right, I'm going to start inking my Spider-Man.
Oh, cool.
Things.
Is this for something, or are you just drawing Spider-Man?
No, I just feel like it. It's drink and draw. So.
That's one of the cool things about drink and draw. We get to pretty much do whatever we want.
That's the best.
So you what?
What are you drinking today?
Unfortunately, I keep forgetting to go to the freaking grocery store to buy me some liquor. So I'm actually sans liquor again today.
Oh, the Strata IPA is delicious.
I hate IPAs. They're the worst. You get terrible taste.
Well, I mean, I wasn't asking you.
No way to talk to a friend.
Right. I had an IPA, one of the last night that had CBD oil in it. It was delicious.
Did you get? Well, I guess you don't really get high on CBD.
No, but it was a good little taste. Another benefit of being in Oregon. I guess California is legal now too, right?
Yep.
Dan, what are you going to draw? So you're going to draw a Stallone?
I want to draw Marion Cabretti, but the sunglasses kill it for me. So I'm going back to Lee Marvin, and I'm going to do it properly this time.
Are you going to draw Lee Marvin without a hat or with a hat?
No hat, no shirt, but
plenty of eyebrows.
Definitely going to have the eyebrows. Shirtless Lee Marvin. And I'm going to have to do that from imagination because there's not too many photos of him in a state of undress.
Shocking.
So is there anybody actually in our little group here?
No.
Or are we just talking to ourselves?
We're talking.
I'm fine with that. I like that.
You have 14 viewers at the moment.
Oh, hey.
Jesus Christ.
Excellent.
That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
I think I count as one, though.
Oh. We all probably count as one.
I think that's how counting works.
There's like 5 people. This is interesting. All right. I never saw that. Obviously, a famous movie. There's a famous movie, and Lee Marvin is just wearing like a nose thing.
Like a nose ring?
No, like a nose guard. Like obviously in the war, his nose got blown off, so he's wearing like a nose guard of some kind. At least they make it look that way. But I'm like, I never saw that movie, and it comes up quite a bit.
So what's happening right now is you're just Googling? Is that what's happening?
I do a lot of Googling, Jeff. Here's the weird thing about me. I will Google anything. I'll even Google myself. And some people aren't fond of doing a name search for themselves.
Apparently.
Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever done that before. I do.
How was you had some good results with that the other day, right?
No, impossible. Nothing comes up.
I name search myself all the time. Normally it's to see if the FBI is looking for me.
Because they'll post. What's that? Looks like they just found you. They just heard a bell.
What the hell?
They discovered Jeff. So much for him.
Do you ever when I had to do, I have the TSA pre-check, and you have to go in and have a little interview and fill out some security forms. And I was legitimately nervous because I had no idea. I'm like, do I have a file? I don't know.
Well, Jeff, have you done anything that would warrant a file?
Not personally, but I've been around a lot of shenanigans. That's why I didn't know. I thought maybe I am tangentially walking into a trap. Not unlike Homer Simpson trying to get a boat from the police department.
Ooh.
You guys remember that episode?
No.
It's good episode.
I haven't watched a whole lot of Simpsons. I do enjoy them. Every time Simpsons are on, I'll watch it. But I'm not like one of those guys who've seen every episode. I've probably seen like 7 episodes of The Simpsons.
It's very disappointing.
Yeah, I know that bothers you about me.
It does bother you.
And that's why I kind of lack a sense of humor.
Well, hey Jeff, when you do Google yourself, do you ever get my search results?
No, I don't get. I've never gotten your search results. I did actually. I forgot to tell you. Recently, get a stack of comics that were for you.
Nice.
Yeah,
you mean like, wait, at a convention or?
No, in the mail. I got a bunch of your You did a bunch of Batman covers, and they collected a trade paperback, and the covers was on them.
Okay.
So I got a bunch of those trade paperbacks, and I just completely forgot to mention it.
But you did stuff in the books though.
Some of them, but not that one.
Yeah, Jeff and I did backups for a while in Detective Comics.
I'm talking about Dave. I'm talking about recently.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird, man. It's like believing in ghosts. Weird.
But the sad thing is, I'm not a very good friend because they're your books. You probably were waiting for them, and I just didn't even bring it up.
To be honest, a lot of times those things end up somewhere else. So I don't understand. What am I going to do with them? Like I just give them away.
Do you guys? Now. I just gave a bunch of stuff to the library, stacks and stacks of old comics. But
do you think they like that?
I'll let them throw them away.
Very good. In Gaijin Studios, we had a Domino's manager that was into comics, and all of us, were getting the DC comps. So we pretty much always had free pizza anytime we wanted, because we would just give him a box of one of our comp boxes.
That was good times. I remember I lived with Ken Hooper, was working at DC, and I was doing Marvel stuff back in the 90s, and he got all the DC stuff, and I got all the Marvel stuff. So we got about 200 comic books every month, and we just left them on the porch for the neighborhood kids.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were very popular.
You didn't invite them into your basement?
We didn't have a basement.
Oh. Maybe I'm thinking of Jan Hammer or Jan, whatever his face was. What was his name? Jan.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it out loud.
Oh, all right. Why? Because like Beetlejuice, he'll appear.
No, I have my reasons.
He'll break out of prison.
Yeah.
It's like me saying, Ed Kramer, the guy who used to run Dragon Con.
Dragon Con, yeah.
Yeah, he's back in prison again. Or hopefully he is.
For your weirdest convention story, if one of you guys want to take that one.
Yeah, Dan, you want to do a weird convention story?
Dan has disappeared. Where's Dan?
Dan, I have a date.
Body break.
Oh. I don't think Dan can hear us.
All right. Well, Jeff and Dave, what are you guys working on right now? What books are you working on?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm working on a book for Image with the writer James Robinson, and putting that in when I can fit it in. But my day job right now is I'm doing storyboards for the new cartoon Harley Quinn over at Warner Brothers. It's going to be on the special Warner Brothers channel. I don't know what's it's going to be at different stations, like one of those pay stations like CBS. And it's a really good show. It's more mature. It's pretty It's pretty damn funny, and I think people are going to love it.
Nice. I besides doing covers, which currently my only at this moment my only regular cover gig is James Bond, but I've been doing, like usual, like people call me up to do stuff. Getting ready to do a Kickstarter with Jimmy Palmiotti. We actually did a book for another company, and it was like literally like a few pages away from being done color wise. Me and Jimmy wrote it. We had a guy named Juan Santa Cruz draw it, and the company decided, because they got bought out and the new management decided right before we were done that it didn't fit into their publishing plans. So now we're working with them to try to buy it back, and then we were going to do a Kickstarter, which would be nice, because then, I mean, literally things literally done. So it'll be a Kickstarter that you get your book like immediately.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but we're still working on the deal, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but
I got you.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Hopefully everything will work out.
Do you have any, you want to share any crazy convention stories? I have one that I just remembered.
Yeah, go for it.
So I can't remember if it was early 90s. And I had just broken into comics, and I was doing Wonder Man. And so it was the first time that I actually had any money, but I didn't have it before I made the arrangements to go to San Diego Con, and I was sleeping on a friend's floor, because we did that a lot back in the day. But the hotel room was full of sweaty, starving artists and cockroaches. And so I decided to get a different room, and the show was still small enough back then that not the whole town wasn't full up. So my friend and I went to the DoubleTree, and they had a room. And I said, great, can you give us this room? And they set us up, and then I went upstairs, and it turned out that they didn't have a room, that someone was staying in that room. So they went, okay, well, we'll upgrade you since this is our mistake. And they gave us the governor's suite. And so for the whole weekend, I had a 2-story room with a grand piano, a hot tub, and a huge dining room. And so the first thing I did was have a big party. And comic book people are the worst. They trashed that room.
Wow.
A bunch of people got in the hot tub, and it overflowed. And then water came down into the circular half-dome light fixture that was beneath the hot tub on the story below, but in the door foyer. And it filled up with water, and it was like that when we left. And they never mentioned it.
What
the hotel never said anything. I paid $120 for the weekend, and went on my merry way. It was the best San Diego ever.
Wow. I wish I had a story like that. Crazy story.
Is my mic not working?
Yeah, your mic's not working, Dan.
Barely hear you.
So weird.
Your $1 million microphone.
This cost me $1 million. Nobody can hear me?
Nope.
Nope. We can't hear you at all.
We can hear you, but not.
I mean, nobody's talking to me. This is so weird.
Dan, what?
They won't switch over to me anymore. This is so bizarre. Ben, you're monkeying with this podcast. You've ruined it.
So Dave, you've never had a crazy story? You've never had like a weird fan come up to you and offer
like sexual favors?
Or not even so much that, but like wasn't a fan giving you moonshine for a while?
Oh, well, that's Dave Ray. I mean, he does that to a lot of people. That's just a good time. You know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a crazy story.
Fair enough. I think your standards are different than mine.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I do love that moonshine. That stuff.
Do you have any crazy Cully Hamner stories there, Dave? That are fit for YouTube.
Well, I got me and Cully used to be roommates, so I've got one of those stories. When we were roommates, our apartment kind of had the living room in between the bedrooms. Like it was a good separation, so you didn't have to hear somebody, having sex or whatever.
You weren't having sex.
Not that Cully was ever having sex when I was around.
What's happening, everyone?
One time I was sitting in the living room watching TV, and Cully went into his bathroom to take a shower, which was right next to the living room. And after a couple of minutes, I just hear feet slipping,
That's not good.
Trying to catch their grip, and then you hear the sound of the shower curtain popping off the rings, and then a huge thud on the ground, and it shook the whole apartment. And I'm freaking out because I don't want to have to walk in there, because once you see your roommate naked, you can't unsee that,
Oh, you immediately have sex.
Well, but I sheepishly walked over to the bathroom, and I just kind of knocked on the door, and I just kind of said, "Kelly, are you okay?" And I just hear this like horrible voice, just great, he's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." But yeah, apparently he landed flat on his back, and he was just laying there covered in the shower curtain.
That's not good.
That's terrible.
So I'm always laughing about that, and to this day, it's kind of like a test. Like, would I have gone in there? I don't know, if he hadn't answered me. So,
did he explain how he had fallen?
He just, like anybody, you lose your grip and
grip.
Well, your feet, Well, yeah. He was holding it a little bit too tight, I guess.
Yeah.
You just slip and fall. So
that's actually a nightmare of mine. That I'll be alone, I'll fall in the shower and knock myself out, and that's how they'll find me.
Well, that and the fact that you hadn't turned your porn off your computer, and that's how they're gonna find that too.
Yeah. So what's Yeah. What do you?
Hey, there we go again.
What's
Weird
the
noise?
How do you think you're gonna die? How do you? Yeah. Like if you had to choose, how would you go?
I think I'm gonna die in the toilet just like Elvis. I think I'm gonna be squeezing one out a little bit too hard, and I'm gonna blow a blood vessel or a circuit.
Is that how Elvis died?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. He didn't go into sleep. That's for sure.
I thought it was drugs.
Well, he was taking so many painkillers that it made him constipated. So he was like really struggling to get a deuce out, and he blew a blood vessel.
Isn't that more because he invented the peanut butter banana sandwich?
No, it was actually because like things like Oxycontin and stuff. It makes you backed up. So you can imagine what Rush Limbaugh was going through.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, I always think about that.
Yes.
Hey, Dan's back.
I'm sort of back.
What happened?
You know what? I've had a lot on my mind lately, and I just need a little time out.
That's reasonable.
I get that.
No, I switched. I got guys. I have like a serious YouTube studio over here, so I have multiple cameras, and I think my system can't handle the tech that I'm introducing to it.
Oh, so did you do the change to camera? I missed it. Did it work?
As usual, you weren't paying attention.
Yeah, no, I was actually doing something you hardly ever do, which is draw.
Oh, I'm drawing. I did 2 drawings yesterday while you were fooling around.
Yeah.
I'm in a little goof off fest.
I crushed it. Yeah, I crushed it the other day.
You did an amazing Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel's DC.
No, it's
true.
not.
I drew Captain Marvel, and I drew a crappy Lee Marvin.
All right.
Hey, hold on. Let's back up. How do you figure Ms. Marvel is DC?
All right, my phone is ringing. I'll be right back.
It's Ms. MS.
Yeah, that was Marvel.
No, not Ms. Marvel. There's Ms. Marvel was a like the niece, and Captain Marvel Jr. was his nephew. Look it up.
No, it was Mary Marvel.
Mary Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something, and I don't like to say this about people. You're a liar.
Can we put money on it?
No, because I always lose bets with you. I don't like betting with you.
That's right. That's right, son of a bitch.
Ouch. It hurt a
I
little bit.
went there, Dan. I actually told you something a bit.
Wouldn't be the first time. I'm going to do my pencil sharpener, but I'm going to mute it because, again, this is a professional YouTube studio. There's all sorts of controls over here.
So now it's just me.
Wait, I'm back.
All right.
Jeff, where'd you go?
Where'd
you go exactly?
I had an unexpected phone call I had to deal with.
You had to deal with.
It's very loud.
There's a lot of chaos on the stream today. I just gotta say, these guys are very unhinged and disorganized today. Bad microphones, phone calls, dogs barking.
Jeff taking various phone calls. Was it your agent?
Cully Hamner stories.
Yeah.
Not just any Cully Hamner stories. Cully Hamner in the shower stories.
Cully, if any of you work in the nude?
How many of us work in the nude?
That's Cully's question.
Cully wants to know that?
Well, Cully should know. At least he should know with me.
I've never worked in the nude.
I don't find it. No, it makes me upset. It makes me sad. The idea of it.
The very idea of it.
Just the very idea of it makes me sad.
You don't like nudity, which is why I used to always try to shock your monkey, so to speak, when you'd come over. You go, here I am. I'm a person, and we're all naked sometimes.
So I heard Andy Smith works nude.
So apart from Dan, you're just answering the door nude all the time. Do you have any funny
convention stories? You know what? That when you were talking about your time where you got the presidential suite or whatever that was.
You remember
that was the first San Diego that you and I were at San Diego together. So I knew you, but I really, Jeff's awesome. I was like, oh man, he draws fantastic. Terry Austin's inking this guy. He's super good at karate. You didn't have a Cobra Cabretti match in your mouth, but you was close. So I was like, so I went over there, and I think it was me and Mark Masella, probably, maybe even Joe Casada. We went over because Jeff was having a huge party because this presidential suite was insane. It was a 2-story room, and with super high ceilings. So there's a wraparound staircase. It was like Gone with the Wind in there, and they had a grand piano.
It was bananas.
So I'm like, this dude knows how to live, and and I was from Florida, so I'm like, I was just drinking like a fish. The next thing I know, Derek Robertson is on the grand piano, and he's going, sing me a song, I'm the piano man. And he started, sing me a song
He
tonight.
plays piano really well.
Yeah, we're all in the mood for it. And I'm like, what the hell? Dude, I don't know why that bothered me. But now I'd be sitting there oh God, that's really, Derek, that's freaking awesome. I'm like, but I was a little bit of a hater, and probably because he was getting a lot of attention, and I like attention. But yeah, it was an interesting night. I don't remember personally trashing it, but I certainly drank all the liquor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone trashed it necessarily on purpose, but we had it was one of those. It was back in San Diego. I mean, San Diego we've been going since the '90s and a little bit before, and so back when it was smaller, just word of mouth, you would hear about parties because there weren't really the official Marvel parties or the Image parties or any of the Hollywood parties yet. So
although there was Glenn Danzig's party.
Oh, I never went to that. That was supposed to be a good party.
He was the man.
Only went to one of those. That was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm jealous. What happened at a Glenn Danzig party?
I don't know if we can talk about that.
Honestly, it's one of those things probably now it's not a great time to discuss that.
Yeah.
Oh. But suffice to say, they were fun.
Yeah, San Diego used to be. I mean, I suppose it's still fun now, but it used to be a lot more manageable.
That is true.
Yeah.
Dan, remember when we tried to catch the train?
Oh God, in Pomona.
Yeah,
that was brilliant.
One of the things I think is the best thing about having been a comic book artist for my whole life is just the strange places I've gotten to go. Because I would never hang out in Pomona necessarily for an evening, but we found ourselves there.
What brought you to Pomona?
It was just a comic book convention.
Oh, it was a Pomona comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a small one. And so Dan and I were guests, and we were signing stuff, and then we had a little bit too much to drink, and then decided to try and catch the train to Mexico.
Yeah, there were some train tracks.
As one does.
There's some train tracks, and we'll just grab the train.
We'll just jump on. We've seen this done in movies a million times. How hard can it be?
It was super hard, and
it's a lot harder than
it almost ripped my arms out of their socket.
Yeah, the train is going fast. I'm very glad that we couldn't actually jump on. We would have killed ourselves.
Yeah, or we'd be missing limbs.
Yeah. So when someone jumps on a moving train, that is 100% bullshit.
Unless they're slowing down for like a stop.
Right. Yeah, but who wants to catch a stopping train?
Fair point.
that's the antithesis of the point.
It's not fun. Yeah, we really thought, like, wouldn't that be hilarious? Where's Dan and Jeff? They're and find out. Remember Frank Turner?
Yeah, he's the best.
Jeff and I that day we were so drunk, and Frank Turner kind of got me my first jobs at small companies. The tremendous talent. Later, he went on to work at a bunch of animation studios. But yeah, he witnessed us like just punching each other in the stomach. That was our idea of fun. For I guess there's not a whole lot going on at this convention. So
it wasn't a lot else to do.
Yeah,
it was before the internet, if anyone can even imagine that.
No, nobody can. It's ridiculous. So here's my Lee Marvin starting.
That's pretty damn good.
You barely saw it, but
that camera's working great.
You like it?
Yeah.
You need to angle it. How do you like some angles?
I love angles.
Imagine I'm doing things super fast. How's that?
It's exciting.
Yeah, when I do that, it's super exciting.
How did you work? Well, we'll talk about this later, but I need to know how to work both angles.
Yeah. Ideally, you need to know how to work both angles in life.
Yeah. Question from a person on the chat who wants to know how the comic industry has changed since you aged individuals started in on it.
Did they say aged individuals, or are they more than that?
I added that as a moderator.
As a moderator, you're allowed to add like sentences.
It's true. Yeah, it's fair enough.
And it's also their birthday, so
Oh, I know who this is. This is our friend in is it Brazil? Agus, yes.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that is the biggest change is that back in the day, which I get to say because I'm a super geezer, is when you would finish a page, you would have to run to the FedEx office and actually mail the physical page, overnight it to the studios. And I remember everyone I knew always pushed that to the very last minute. And and on a regular basis, you would see me running down the street at 4:55 trying to make the last 5 o'clock deadline for FedEx.
I had a Corvette, and I also would wait until the last minute. And I was so insistent on, look, I'm going to make this deadline. I was like, the cops can come after me. They can chase me. I'm taking them all the way to FedEx. I'm getting out of the car with the package in my hand, handing it to the FedEx guy, and they can arrest me, for speeding. That's how dedicated I was.
It's a really silly version of Thelma and Louise.
Yeah. Luckily, that never happened. Thank goodness.
I can actually admit to something now.
Ooh, Dave.
What is the statute of limitations over?
Yeah, pretty much. One time I wasn't going to make a deadline,
One time?
And yeah, well, yeah. And I didn't want to get fired or get a lot of grief, so I took a FedEx package, I sealed it, then I ripped it open and then resealed it, and then sent it to my editor.
Genius!
So I think somebody opened it up.
Wow.
That is darn right criminal.
God, Dave, that's very, all kidding aside, that's pretty devious.
God, that's brilliant.
It is brilliant, though, yeah.
I wish I thought of it.
Hey,
did it work?
The day. It gave me another day.
And you got some sympathy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ideally, you could have got paid twice.
Oh, you brilliant bastard.
Actually, DC only pays when they lose it. So.
Oh, yeah.
So you looked into it.
I actually did have 2 covers stolen out of DC when I was working on 100 Bullets.
Here it comes again.
They had to pay me, to do them again. One, I couldn't believe the guy who it was like a I don't know, like an assistant,
So they caught the guy?
No. What he did was this is back when I used to paint covers, and I used to paint them really large, and they used to have to send them out to get photographed. And the assistant puts my cover in this this big package that of course wouldn't fit in a FedEx box, and just ran it down to the lobby of an open lobby in New York City when DC was in New York. And just left it right by the FedEx box. And, of course, somebody came by and said, hey, that looks really important. I'm going to steal it. So,
that's a bummer.
Yeah, I had to repaint the cover. But it actually worked out because the
original
painting, the original painting wasn't as good as the redo. So,
what do you feel like, on a side note, do you feel like a drawing gets better the second time you do it?
Sometimes. Sometimes you can kind of kill the energy out of it, but I was able to fix a lot of the mistakes that I saw in the first time around.
I always battle with that.
The happy ending.
Drawing something over and over again to make it better, because it does feel sometimes like you can improve it, but a lot of times there's less life in it.
Yeah.
But that also might just be me.
Could be just you, Jeff.
A lazy, rejecting the idea of practice.
Yeah, I can see that with you. Seriously. Yeah. Do you guys like the eraser sound? Can you hear that a lot?
It's kind of turning me on.
I can't really hear it.
One of the things I like to do at Drink and Draw is while everybody's drawing, erase, and then it just messes everybody else's drawing up because it shakes the table. And here it doesn't have the same effect, but it is noisy, and I'm sure that annoys Dave. So...
if only your microphone wasn't so good.
Yeah.
You guys like the shape of my microphone?
Yes. That's something I've often said.
Quick answer from Jeff.
Yeah, I've been thinking it. So, Dan, what are you working
Here's my Lee Marvin so far. Whoop.
I like that. I like your Lee Marvin.
So angry. I'm going to give this to Ben because of his exceptional job today.
Oh, I feel like I'm contributing a lot. Dave.
Yeah.
What does Delta Dash mean to you?
Oh, God. Wait, did Cully say this?
Possibly.
Yeah. Yeah, Delta Dash is great. Did you guys have Delta Dash?
Yeah, I use that all the time.
Oh
is that
God.
like a different FedEx?
No, basically.
Yeah, but it's like if you've missed FedEx, you can do Delta Dash, and it's the same day. Back then, it was the same day, so it kind of saved your ass. But you would have to pay for it,
right? Yeah.
You what?
So that's out of pocket, right?
Yeah, but
Marvel used to let me. They would allow me to do it, and they'd foot the bill.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, usually it was my fault that I had.
That was my fault, but they were
They were desperate.
I knew people.
Yeah, look at you, fancy pants.
Yeah, a lot of people. At one point, I knew so many people. Now,
well, don't you? I mean, this is actually a serious question. Do you feel like back in
pass?
No, I don't want to even think about it. When we used to go to shows in San Diego, we did kind of know everyone. I don't travel as much. I don't do the shows as much. Like, I don't feel like I know everyone who's in comics anymore. And I used to basically
a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a much bigger industry than it was.
Dave knows a lot of people.
Honestly, I kind of feel the same way now. It's
right. Like, is that just that's not just my imagination, is it?
No, not at all.
You guys are old. You don't keep up.
Well, that's for sure.
You know, I like to stay abreast of the situation and people and make friends.
Yeah, name a friend.
I don't have too many friends.
You've got no friends.
Name one.
Look, we started this podcast so we could all hang out. Okay.
So, Dan, what are you working on right now?
I can't say the actual project I'm working on. I could probably say I'm working for Marvel currently.
All right, that's cool.
But it's a secret project.
Excellent. Those are the best.
Wait, is that the thing you keep posting pictures?
Yeah,
of
I keep
all the
posting
time?
pictures of it.
Yeah. It's a real.
But no, I don't. Well, no, I don't show the character. You can't see. You can't see
the character.
You can see a lot of artwork I posted. Is like, oh, look at this. You know.
I like that. That makes me happy.
But yeah, no, it's fun. It's written by a friend of mine, and I'm not going to say who. That's my like little coy laugh. Like I know a secret. Tee hee hee. But no, I'm keeping busy doing that and covers. I do covers for Frank Thierry's Jughead: The Hunger versus Vampironica. I do covers for Jeff Parker's James Bond Origins. I have another secret cover project for Boom.
Oh, very cool.
I guess they're going to have to announce. But yeah, I'm working on quite a different things. I'm happy to have a lot of covers. I really I was very envious of Dave's career in the sense that, man, he does so many covers, and I love doing the single illustration thing.
Yeah, do you find that different than doing because you do, like, Dave doesn't do interiors anymore, but you do both. Do you find it hard
Dave can't do interiors? They won't let him
because of the thing. Do you find it hard to switch back and forth from the single illustration composition to doing pages and storytelling? I
like both so much. I mean, for me it isn't. How about you, Dave? I mean, because you still, I mean, even though you don't do a lot of it, you still do some sequential stuff here and there.
To me, it's I think the thing that trips me up is drawing small.
Oh, you mean like it for the actual storytelling stuff?
Yeah, the panels. Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, you know. I've said it before.
You ever thought of drawing big?
Well, I mean, but then it becomes like a whole thing. And I don't know. My big thing is drawing characters in a consistent fashion, and I feel like I don't really do that.
That's funny, since you did so many character designs back in the day.
Yeah, but that's like, you know, I'm not drawing that character a million times over. You know, I design it and then you do a quick turnaround, or, you know, you get somebody under you to do the turnarounds. And,
yeah. I was always the guy who had to do the turnarounds.
Yeah, precisely. So you have to do turnarounds.
Turnaround's a tough job.
It's a complicated bit of math to turn a character.
Yep.
So I'm going to go to New Zealand in June, and one of the things, and we're gonna do a workshop at the college, the art college, the animation college there. And I thought the best thing I could teach them would be the mechanics of actually doing the job. Like, how do you do a 5-point turn? How do you do like a mouth chart? All that super boring stuff that is actually what you get paid for.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, what was the thing that you couldn't stand doing, but it paid the most?
In animation?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got kind of burned out on doing backgrounds, but that's what got me into the business.
Didn't you design the Justice League Dart, the spaceship, and the space station? Was that you?
You mean the Javelin?
Yeah.
I designed the second version of it.
Oh, it's a version that there wasn't a whole lot of hubbub about that.
Right, people didn't notice that one.
Yeah, people weren't talking as much about that one. But interesting that you had a hand in it.
Right.
but I designed that and the second, the Watchtower.
Oh yeah, remember.
I remember you did a bunch of really great. You and I both worked on that GI Joe gig, and I did.
You worked on that? Oh, yeah, you did boards.
Right? No, I did a bunch of character stuff. I did a bunch of turns and ancillary characters.
Did Joaquin, did he direct that one or have something to do with that?
Yeah, he was the producer of that one. And Dave did, I did a bunch of cops and background characters. I did a bunch of turns. I did a really cool turn of Destro and all the other Joes. I did the turns. But Dave did these ridiculously detailed backgrounds of the bases and the ships.
Well, it was me and Dan Norton.
Dan's great.
Split duties on that one. We both did equal prop designs and background design.
Was it equal, or was Dan kind of like?
Was Dan carrying the load?
Dan pretty much was carrying my ass all the way through it. Let's be honest, he's way better than me. Yeah, Dan's
amazing.
Have you guys seen Dan Norton's he's just doing some cool background stuff now. Like he's just drawing beautiful scenery.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those quick paintings he's been doing. Those are fantastic.
I don't even know if they're quick. I'd like to pretend they're. I hope they're not quick because they look like he has
a time on them at the bottom of each one. Like he does those in an hour or an hour and a half. Like those are something he's doing to relax.
Incredible. That guy's good.
He's super good. Yeah, one of the best things. I do love drawing comics and being my own boss and working at home and all that stuff, but I do miss working in the studios because so many great artists are doing all kinds of different things all around you, and you're just in your own little cube, and then you walk around. And I remember when I was at Warner Brothers, Dan was working on the Thundercats, and there were just these crazy world-building pictures all over the walls. Like, here's the castle, here's all the vehicles, here are all the weapons. It's just a great environment to be in. I do miss that part.
Yeah, me too.
I don't miss LA traffic, though. That's brutal.
Huh. It's weird that you'd say that. A lot of people like it.
Some people love it. I know. Some people are big fans.
Yeah. I miss all the shenanigans we would get into.
Dave, you were a shenanigan king.
Yeah, it really was.
Dave, do you remember? I'm sure you do, but do you remember the havoc you wrought with your handmade blow darts?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. It almost got me fired.
Go on.
Well, I discovered at one point that you could fit one of those snapping pops. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't, because I'm a grown man. No, I don't know what a snapping pop is.
Yeah, you know what a snapping pop is.
No, I don't.
It's those little paper wrap thing. It kind of looks like little sperms, but they got a little bit of gunpowder in them, and you throw them on the ground and they go pop. It's like
it's a kid's toy.
It's a child's toy.
Yeah.
Cute, Dave. That's really cute.
Anyway, I discovered that snapping pops fit perfectly into my blowgun, and I was shooting them in the back of the head of this guy named George, another background designer.
I know him. I know George.
Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, Bruce Timm's assistant happened to be walking between us, and one of them fell short and hit him right in the face. And it didn't hurt him, but it scared the shit out of him. And
surprise!
All of a sudden I hear pop, and then I hear this. I mean, he was like the sweetest kid ever. And all of a sudden I just hear, "Goddamn motherfucker! What the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm fired."
How bad was it?
No, it didn't hurt him, but it just scared the shit out of him.
Well, Dan, imagine. So Warner Brothers at that time, it was like I think it was like the third floor. It was like most of the lights were dimmed because people were working on computers and they had their own lights. So it was a pretty chill place. It was very quiet.
Uh-huh.
And then and then can you imagine you're quietly walking down the hall from one office to the next and you get a gunpowder explosion in the face.
That kind of ended the blowgun thing for a while.
It ended the blowgun era. You mean when someone actually got killed?
Well, I'm surprised that was what did it, because at one point we were making darts using. We had these electric erasers, so these little battery-powered erasers that had these small cylindrical erasers, and we used to erase them down to a point, and then stick them in a stir straw, and then we put like little fins on the back of it. I mean, we were getting like NASA level aerodynamics with these darts, but at one point we put needles in the tip of these things.
What?
Dude, I wanted to see how far they could travel.
Yeah, and then you hit Bruce Timm's assistant with it.
Yeah, nobody got a needle in the face.
I'm sure that was a priority for you. You sound like a real kind person.
Yeah.
Yeah, working in the studio, it can be boring, but it can also be terrifying.
Yeah.
Dave had a reputation. I'm not sure if Dave knows as much about his reputation, but everyone's like, just go along with it. Dave is gonna cause some trouble.
Pretty much.
So it was kind of understood, you know.
Yeah. I used to, like I said, I used to call myself the cruise director because I was always coming up with fun activities for people to do.
Yeah, fun for you. Unfortunately, it always involved needles and
no, he did some really great stuff. So when I was
glowbillies or whatever you're calling them.
I remember when so I took Dave's job over. I told that story already.
Yeah, you got Dave fired and you took his job over.
Yeah.
Right. So I took over that job, and when you work in animation, you work a lot of really late nights. And I remember I was at the studio in the middle of the night, and I went to the bathroom. And at the Warner Brothers, at that particular studio, the bathrooms, they had recessed lighting in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so, and there was like a little an alcove kind of up there that the light was in a container. And so Dave had taken cardboard drawings, which is actually kind of one of the inspirations for the drink and draw stuff, like drawing on cardboard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had taken one of his cardboard drawings, which was like a little monster, and he had put it up in the recessed lighting above you so that when you looked in the mirror.
Well, no, the wall was mirrored.
Oh, the wall was mirrored.
Well, it wasn't mirrored, but it had a mirror aspect to it. And if you looked up at the angle, it really became mirror-like. And you could see this face looking down on you.
It was goddamn terrifying.
Yeah, and I had a word balloon, and it just said, "I like to watch."
Right. So startling. It was so startling. And then, but there was one of the things I thought was really great, because that was my first, after I worked at CrossGen, that was Warner Brothers was my first real studio job. And then walking into the world that Dave had just left, there was so many clues. Like Dave had these old, was it crows or ravens?
Well, yeah, there was a place called Oz, like AAHH, and then they would sell
club or whatever.
Yeah, they would sell like all sorts of weird shit. It was kind of like Spencer's used to be, and every Halloween they would have tons of Halloween decorations, and then the day after Halloween they would try to get rid of that shit, and so they had all these realistic looking crows with real crow feathers, and like their bodies were plastic. And their legs were wires, so you could put them places. And they were selling them for like $1 a pop, so I bought a shit ton of them.
They were fucking everywhere.
I put them all. Yeah. I came
every
in
time
one
I
night.
visited Warner Brothers. I was like, what kind of place is this?
I came in one night, found the ladder because you needed a ladder, and because of the way Warner Brothers ceilings were, they had all these recessed drop down ceilings that would hide the air conditioning ducts.
Yeah.
And you had pipes everywhere. And so, I went around and took the wire and put them all over the studio. But around my desk, I think what I had, like, because you took over, it was like 20 of them.
Yeah. And I noticed them. The first time I saw them was, like, once again, in the middle of the night. And I leaned back in my chair to close my eyes and take a little bit of a nap. And then that's when I saw them. Nice. And it was nightmare, because I'm already tired. I'm already way out of my depth because this is a job I don't know. One of the things I thought was hilarious is I got the gig doing backgrounds, and there was no orientation. Like there was no, this is what we expect from you. I got the job, and then I sat down at my desk, and I just got handed a stack of backgrounds to do without any I I had no idea what to do. So that first week I was there I was completely underwater until I figured out the system. But that first night I looked up and I was surrounded by crows.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you find the bagel?
No. Where'd you hide a bagel?
Well, this was when we were doing the blowguns. I wanted something to shoot at, so I found it was like a super brand bagel. They used to have bagels delivered, and I attached it to a pillar way up in the ceiling, and I used to shoot at it with the push pins. So there was probably
I saw a bunch of push pins. I saw a forest of push pins.
Oh yeah, no, I used to shoot about 1 billion push pins.
Did you ever work, Dave?
Because it sounds like it's just nonsense endlessly.
No, why would I work? It was a union shop.
Yeah.
When I came in, I came in after doing comics, and I was like rocking, like flying, because I didn't want to get fired. And one of the other background guys eventually, after I was there like a couple of weeks, this great guy named Shane Poindexter, and he was one of the original Batman animated series background designers. And he came up to me and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean? I'm doing my work." And he's like, "Yeah, well, you do realize the faster you get these backgrounds done, the sooner you're going to be out of a job." And I kind of learned a valuable lesson at that point, not to work so fast. So yeah, I started fucking around. Give me something else to do.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore.
Oh no, not. Yeah, it's like a sweatshop nowadays.
Yeah, times have changed a bit.
But back then, man, if you did one background of a week, they were happy. I mean, it was crazy. So those were the halcyon days, as I like to say.
Those were good times.
Crazy seems like an exaggeration. I'm sure they.
It wasn't. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
I mean, the word crazy itself seems a little bit.
It was
a little bit crazy. Yeah, I shouldn't use it.
All right, here's what I got going. Let's see if I can use my webcam for good. Whoops. All right, this is the first time we've used an actual webcam. So let's see here.
Well, I've been using one.
No, I mean the first time I've used a dueling webcam.
Oh, well, once again, you're just ripping me off.
No, I'm not you. I'm ripping you off. People do live streams, Dave. It's not a ripoff. People have cameras with live streams. They're not stealing from you.
I made it up.
Ben, were you going to ask me something?
Yeah, Chad Townsend wants to know about the Bugs Bunny costume.
The Bugs Bunny costume.
Excuse me?
Wow.
I think it's aimed at Dave, maybe. I don't know. Something about Warner Brothers and a Bugs Bunny costume.
Oh. Well,
that's
so
not me.
No, they in one of the buildings, 34R, which was where all the executives are, and where the some of the artists are, some cubes and whatnot, but a lot of directors and executives are in 34R. they have a bunch of them. They have like a coyote costume and a Bugs Bunny costume, and so I never did it, but I always wanted to stand in it, like get in it, and scare the shit out of people. I never did it myself, but I heard that was something that happened. So if you can imagine walking down the halls and seeing a Bugs Bunny, the Bugs Bunny costume you've passed a million times, and then suddenly it grabs you.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah.
That would have been good. That would have been a Dave level, explosive in the face level shot.
In your face. One time, me and Dave Williams, he worked at Consumer Products, and we did lunch together, and we walked over to the lot, and he goes, "Hey, follow me," and I followed him over to the garage. It turned out Warner Brothers has a garage, and
on the lot, really?
Yeah. Well, that's, you got to keep cars somewhere.
You mean on the other side, like outside the gates, right?
No, it was inside. It was inside the gates.
I never went to that one.
So we walk over there, and sitting right there with the keys in it was the Tim Burton Batmobile. Because they were doing OnStar commercials with it.
Tempting.
Well, next thing I know, we're jumping in it.
Oh, criminal.
Yeah. I was just waiting to get fired. I was like, holy shit, somebody's going to walk over here and we're done. But Dave being Dave, he actually closed he actually hit the close button for the canopy. And I was just like, dude, if the battery runs out, I'm leaving you, bro. I'm not sticking around, man.
What was it like inside? Was it cool?
Yeah, it was. It was like a movie car. I mean, you think they're way better than they actually are, but it had the OnStar button, on the dash, and it was cool. It was cool. Good times. But they had the Bullet car, Steve McQueen.
Oh, fun.
I think they even had the Dukes of Hazzard car in there, or one of them. Because there's like a bazillion of them.
Did they keep? Is that because they kept crashing them?
Yeah. They from what I understand, it's hard to find Challengers now because they destroyed so many of them.
Really?
On that show, yeah, they're really hard to find if you want to restore one. But it was good times. I miss the studio cafeteria. That was.
Oh yeah.
You could always see somebody famous and stuff. Like they used to tell me, like they used, when they were shooting the ER, you could find George Clooney playing basketball in the basketball courts. And stuff like that.
I can see that.
I mean, I never saw him, but I saw plenty of other famous people, just getting their food on.
Yeah, so, working at Warner Brothers was a lot of fun. I liked working at the ranch more than I liked working at the Galleria. Oh
yeah. Well, the original Galleria building was way worse. You got the benefit of the good one, but we were in the high rise right before that.
Oh yeah,
that place was kind of it had a long production time where how things get just nasty and nobody ever cleans shit. And so
I worked at the Sony Apple building. Did you ever work there?
No, but I've heard stories about it.
That place was it was where, this is how much they loved animation at Sony back then. It was a warehouse where they stored old props from other movies. Nice. So we were in the offices above a gigantic warehouse that had like a defunct helicopter, a bunch of tractors, a bunch of these really cool, gigantic fake plastic planets that were hanging from the ceiling. It was cool. It was kind of a fun place to work, except when there was ever an earthquake, because because we were just basically offices on stilts above a warehouse.
Yeah,
and so it was terrifying. And I remember Cheeks. We were working on Spider-Man, and he had never been in an earthquake before. And he runs out of the office, and what happens? And he goes, "Well, what do we do?" I'm like, "Well, if we go down, we're done. But you're never going to make it to the end of the hallway. Yeah. So just accept your fate." Yeah. All right.
Now, we had a guy, his name was McGregor Middleton, and he was definitely afraid of earthquakes too. And that newer building, the one you were working at, was built to withstand, earthquakes and stuff. And so it moved. If heavy people were walking by, the whole, the floor would move. So I found 3 of the biggest guys I could find at Warner Brothers, and we hid right outside his cubicle while he was talking. And we, in unison, we all started jumping up and down. And it literally felt like an earthquake, and he started freaking out. So, yeah. I don't know if that's a great story, but it's a story. What happened to Dan?
I had to answer the door. I don't know where Dan went.
I think Dan's having camera trouble again.
Is he? Well, we're...
Can you guys hear me or not?
Yes, we can.
Barely hear.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you guys can't hear me.
I can't hear you at all.
How about now?
Nope.
You guys are terrible.
What?
You guys are terrible.
I can't hear you, Dan.
So much my super microphone.
What?
Just disastrous. Where are those?
Do you guys see my robot?
Do you have a kennel?
No, not yet.
Well, you know what? I have two dogs. One of them's a very loud pit bull, and she just does her thing.
I have corgis. They don't
bark. They don't make any noise.
A little bit. Right now, they're just contently laying there, being good radio dogs.
Oh, I wish I had a radio dog.
So, you guys want to wrap up? I think you're at your hour mark.
Yeah, let's go ahead and finish it up. Thank you guys for joining us again for an hour of really professional broadcasting.
Of course. At least you can hear me now.
What?
Barely.
What? Yeah, barely. I'll barely you guys.
Yeah. All right. So when are we
really
doing?
Cool, Jeff. That is
thanks.
That's so cool. I'd like to show my drawing. You know what? I'll make a scan and I'll put it on Twitter and Facebook and drink and draw.
All right. Fun.
But it was fun drawing. Just drawing what you want to draw.
Well, I think the winner of this particular one is Dave's Spider-Man. That came out great. Look at that thing.
I know.
Yeah, it turned out all right.
Yeah.
Turn it around, Dave, so it's not upside down, so we can actually.
All right, hold on.
If you had a professional camera, your camera would be somewhere else, so we could actually not see this upside down.
Why do you assume
Let me get my tape
Spider-Man's
off and hold on a second. You can wait 5 seconds.
Why do we always argue?
There we go.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. I don't like the way his legs are splayed.
I love it.
No,
I love how they're laid. That's fantastic. Really cool, all right, gentlemen.
Awesome, you guys. Thanks, everybody. Subscribe if you want to have more. Next week, we're going to have Frank Thierry on. He's a real sweetheart.
Apologies to John Cena. We didn't get him on.
Oh, yeah, John
today.
Cena wanted to jump on board.
Yeah. We ran out of time for John Cena.
We'll get it next time for sure. Ben,
sure?
thanks for taking care of us.
Hey, always a pleasure. Mostly.
Yeah,
Ben,
mostly a pleasure.
All right. Ciao.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
See you, everybody.
See ya.